Politically, culturally, spiritually, let's face it, 2025 has been a pretty weird year. Did you attach a Labubu to your bag, hire an Etsy witch, shout 6'7" after hearing it from a tween without knowing what it means? Same. This is how Lucy McGuire opened for her most recent article for Vogue about the state of society, trends, and culture, recapping 2025. If 2025 has taught us anything, it is to expect the unexpected. And as we inch closer to 2026, maybe some of you are there already, there are trends, whether we wanted them to go or not, that have slowly disappeared from the zeitgeist. I was able to come up with 6 that I feel confident about, but let me know what other trends you think died in 2025. And towards the end of this video, I'm gonna give you a prediction of 3 on the cusp trends that are either on the trajectory of growing or decaying as we move through the new year. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Drew. What it do? It's nice to meet you. Let's talk trends. 2023 and 2024 marked the last years that we saw the mega sneaker trend. And in those years, the Adidas Samba reigned supreme over the sneaker world. On the heels of the 2022 World Cup, there was an explosion of interest pulling fashion towards vintage-inspired, football-focused aesthetics. Memes, design languages, and For You pages were all tilted towards this trend, and the sneaker at the top of the hill was the Adidas Samba. And where we first started to see trend fatigue was in the release of the once incredibly popular Wales Bonner Adidas Samba sneaker collabs. And along with those, there was a proliferation of low-profile, soccer-esque sneakers like the Aloha's TB490. These sneakers played as early indicators to major mega mass appeal, and then the subsequent fatigue that follows that appeal. Because of the popularity of the Adidas Samba, there was a lot of people towards the middle to the end of 2023 that were starting to ring the bells on trend fatigue as it related to the Adidas Samba, as it related to soccer-esque shoes. And when I look at the landscape in 2025, it's still very heavily influenced by that 2023-2024 soccer Adidas Samba look, that low profile sneaker look. But for the Adidas Samba in particular, it's no longer the sneaker at the top of the hill. Something to remember, in no way am I saying that if something is dead or something is dying that you should not be interested in it or shouldn't buy it. If you have a strong affinity or you really love the Adidas Samba, by all means, continue to support the companies, the brands, the silhouettes, the designs that you're into. This is more of a conversation about how fashion changes over time. It's not about judging you for caring about a trend or not caring about a trend. Hopefully the vibes between us are good. Number 2, menswear went through a phase where it was obsessed with cropping shirts. This mostly Gen Z, chronically online trend essentially emphasized the look of cropped shirts. This took the form of cropped graphic tees, cropped button downs, and cropped hoodies. Basically, if it was cropped, it was in, and even I fell victim to the rhetoric. Now, I never personally got some scissors, cut a shirt, and then sewed the hem of that shirt. That just wasn't for me, and no shade to anyone who did that. Maybe you have a shirt that you're wearing right now, which you've done that. Cool. But what I did do is I helped embolden this trend by propagating idea structures such as the rule of thirds. You remember the rule of thirds? The rule of thirds is basically an idea borrowed from architecture and photography meant to create a formula to help nail silhouette and proportion. The 2 words most exhaustively used in the 2020s, in the current fashion world. The cropped top trend has a direct relationship with the rise in popularity of terms like silhouette and proportion. But in 2025, these terms and these ideas have been reallocated by some to no longer accurately represent the full scope of what most people or some people call good style. And you can even tell in how I'm talking about this. I was personally a big fan of the rule of thirds and this idea of having a more cropped top, whether it's a cropped jacket or a cropped shirt. But it's clear to see in 2025 that the culture is moving away from some of these ideas. One of the biggest shifts starting in 2022 and 2023, and then eventually crystallizing in 2024 were the advent of micro trends. And before micro trends, or this idea of micro trends, there were fashion cores. The most recent micro trend pack that died in 2025 is the office siren, the Copenhagen aesthetic, the Tim's baggy jeans warrior kind of aesthetic, and the mob wife aesthetic. Each of these micro trends had varying trend status moments via your For You page. And these trends highlighted the idea that we can tell what your algorithm on TikTok or on Instagram looks like based on how you're dressing in the real world. This idea of algorithm dressing is in lockstep with the rise in popularity of micro trends. The only thing is that while micro trends really helped to define 2022, 2023, and 2024, they became increasingly less relevant in 2025. And I get that like saying that micro trends are dead is probably too big of a statement, because there were tons of micro trendy moments that led to online trends, consumer behavior trends, new language being brought to the world because of micro trends. But there is a definite shift from these aesthetics, these cores, to these just very discombobulated, weird moments that took place in 2025 that, in my opinion, are totally different, and we should categorize them totally differently than the micro trends that we saw over the last 2 to 3 years. There's also this like bifurcation that's taking place, which on one side represents the people who generate ideas from scrolling on For You pages or looking at things on social media. And then there's a growing other side that wants people, or the idea is that they want more individuals to care more about their physical environments, IRL. So you have this idea, are trends real, or are trends only taking place on chronically online spaces? Or are trends real, or are trends only taking place in major fashion cities? And they come from the consequences of the popularity of micro trends becoming so prevalent and there being so many. There was a micro trend pack of the last 2 years, and I just think that heading forward, you're not going to see that same pack anymore. There's going to be a new DLC to download. This idea kind of flows perfectly into number 4, which is what I'm calling the illusion of sources. The speed in which internet culture becomes culture is a complete paradigm shift away from how culture was generated 20 years ago, especially for young people. Very few people get their ideas from places other than social media profiles. And what's died or is dying is the idea of choice. Fashion trends all come from internet trends, which means nearly all trends are a monetized game. You might argue, well, Drew, trends have always been a monetized game, and I would probably agree with you, but they usually or originally came out of culture taking place in real life. In today's world, in the 2025 heading into 2026 world, trends take place for the sake of curing boredom. Trends are often trends for trend's sake, if that makes sense. The purpose of a lot of trends is to make sure that you stay hooked onto scrolling on your For You page, whether that is as a creator and you want to participate in the trends, or you're a audience member and you're just watching a trend propagate over a week's time. What do you think about when you think about these trends? 6'7", the Nicki Minaj challenge, quarter zips, the performative male. All of these moments were trends in 2025, but in a lot of ways, these trends come from nothing and only exist online as a form of entertainment. They don't tell a story about anything. They don't have any like incredible lore. They don't have any backstory that makes them noteworthy, fully fledged, fully realized trends that when we look back on the time period, people will understand why these things took place. They all, at least currently, at least to me right now, feel very random. And these trends are the new normal. Gone are the days where trends sprouted out of a radically unique subculture. No. Everything from here on out is going to be about internet trends. And to me, this idea of the illusion of choice is really a fallacy, that you may think that you have a choice in what trends to participate in, but in reality, most, if not all, trends are coming from internet culture, internet personalities, internet people, internet moments that then spread via the internet, and you can communicate with other people who have seen these trends in real life, but they're internet trends. Basically, the internet took over. Number 5, the rise of exclusivity. Again, in fashion. The fashion industry often mirrors the sentiments of the current pulse of society. And the current pulse, at least in the United States, is not feeling very inclusive and accepting and in open arms of all ranges and all types of people. And there's a whole bunch of cultural arbitrage that goes with that, whether that's red pill content, whether that's wokeness or the culture wars, immigration, and there's a whole slew of things we can get into, right? But you understand the current pulse of culture if you're in the United States. And while there are, of course, areas of fashion that are still much more inclusive than they have ever been, because of this current moment we're in socially, politically, culturally, things like gatekeeping and conservatism, which is just a form of gatekeeping, is on the rise. And for a lot of people, gatekeeping can have a very positive connotation or can have a very negative connotation. It depends on which side of the gate you're on. Gatekeeping can be a good thing because it preserves some subculture that maybe you hold really near and dear to your heart. Then you could say, oh, gatekeeping is a bad thing because you are essentially siphoning off a group of people who may have interest in a particular idea or concept or designer or something. And it's just not cool to basically say no to people on the premise of that, I'm in, you're out, and no one else can come in. But what I think we can't argue with is that the rise in exclusivity, the rise in gatekeeping, means that there's a slight death in inclusivity. Number 6, the death of luxury. Luxury fashion has faced more challenges than it ever has in 2025. Part of the reason is that more and more people are waking up to this idea that there's a disparity of the quality of goods versus what you are paying to get a certain level of quality. Part of the reason is that vintage and secondhand buying continues to grow and grow and grow, which I think is a really great thing. Another part of it is that there's a gap to buy luxury. The people who are able to afford luxury, the wealth that's needed to buy into luxury, there's a widening gap that's taking place between those individuals and the people who maybe aspire to buy luxury. That's why you have the rise in popularity of secondhand or vintage shopping. And within a lot of instances within our culture, luxury is only relevant when we're talking about celebrities or when we're talking about people who are working within the fashion industry. Even when we talk about celebrities, a lot of celebrities have stylists, and more of the stylists are actually tapping into lesser known, more low key, more on the rise luxury or pseudo luxury brands, as opposed to going with the traditional LVMH brand or branch of luxury products. It's also dying in the idea or the sentiments about luxury. More people are upset at luxury houses because they feel like they don't honor the price tag that they ask for when you buy something. They don't honor that. There's a story with Wisdom that shed light on that. All right, rapid fire, 3 on the cusp trends that are either gonna grow or decay in 2026. Here we go. One of the bigger trends happening in the realm of celebrity culture has been this renaissance of sheared fabric red carpet moments. The reason why sheared attire works so well, especially in women's wear and especially in the realm of celebrity PR appearances, is because it never fails to cause a bit of controversy. And while I should have added this to the 6 trends that died in 2025, one of the biggest things that's happening, online culture, news culture, fashion culture, is this idea or this moment where nuance is kind of disappearing and controversy has become the new status quo for how you get people to pay attention to what you're doing. And one of the biggest examples of this year was Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle. Controversy has become one of the most powerful ways to draw attention towards a particular actor or actress. I think most regular people, normal people, shy away from controversy, but in the celebrity and public figure world, controversy is the name of the game. It's a huge asset to bolster interest about a particular individual. And that's why I think this trend of sheer red carpets will only continue to grow in 2026. It's one of those fashion elements that whenever, whoever it is, male actor, female actor, whoever, it's gonna cause a little bit of a ruckus. There's been some really good ones and there's been some bad ones, Kanye and Bianca. But all of them generate a ton of buzz and interest for the individual. Over the last 3 years, more and more people have been saying that skinny jeans are coming back, skinny jeans are coming back, skinny jeans are coming back. But are they? Well, eventually, yes, probably. Wide leg jeans are most certainly on the cusp. And I think for a lot of people, the sentiment is, the idea is that skinny jeans at some point are gonna become the new trendy, most trendy, or already in a form of trendy style of pants. It might be 2026, it might be 2029, it might be 2032. But for right now, at least it feels like the wide leg trend is on a decline. I guess it really depends on who you talk to. Most like young people are still wearing a ton of wide pants. The people who are a bit older, who adopted wide pants, maybe are going back to skinny because they feel nostalgic about the skinny jeans that they wore when they were the age of the people who are now wearing wide leg jeans. We'll see. The last trend on the cusp or on the precipice of something even bigger is not really about a specific item of clothing. It's more so about algorithms and AI and how these things are only going to expand in 2026. AI is here, and whether you like it or not, whether it's a bubble, it's gonna pop, it's going to be in the zeitgeist. It's going to be a part of the fabric of conversations, at least for the next year. At least that's like the very, very bare minimum. AI is already something that's incredibly popular. There's an AI description on this video right now. You probably used ChatGPT or Gemini today or this week or last week. We're all understanding and entering into an entirely different landscape when it comes to artificial intelligence. And of course, that's going to impact the fashion industry. We're already seeing pretty hyper curated feeds, but I think with AI, that is going to become even more curated. It just is a matter of time until they implement the technology to really learn about you so that every single time you scroll, it's a video that you like, which it's kind of already there. And continuing to bring it back to fashion, you know, there are advertisers or advertisements that have already begun using AI generated models. In Hollywood, there are AI generated actors and actresses that have started to grow in popularity or grow in controversy, I guess you could call it. It's hard to know specifically how AI will have the largest impact on fashion, but I know, just like with everything else, AI is going to have an impact on the fashion world. Have you been picking up what I've been putting down? Let me know what you think about these takes down in the comments. Do you agree, disagree? Just let me know. You're not gonna offend me, okay? It's not gonna happen. We're just having a conversation about ideas, okay? This will probably be my last video of 2025. And I think it would be remiss of me not to say thank you for all of the support that you guys have shown, all the people who have subscribed, even if you haven't subscribed, even if you've made it to this point in the video and are watching right now, I appreciate you immensely. It's been an incredibly fun year to be a creator on YouTube in particular. I find YouTube as the platform that I just enjoy talking about ideas. And I started making YouTube videos 5 years ago. And so this marks the 5th year, which is an incredible milestone, landmark. Not a lot of people get to make it to 5 years. And I feel just as I'm having as much fun as I did year 1 as I am in year 5. So that's incredible. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. All the people who've supported, who've been here since the beginning, who've been there recently. I'm rambling, but I'm grateful. I really am grateful. One last time for the year. As always, I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity in 2025. So that means I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity to you and to everyone who's alive, wherever you are in the world. Have a wonderful rest of your day. A bientôt. Peace.